Hello, this is Mr. Ellis. I'm going to record videos on every step of the process for importing data from Excel spreadsheet, on creating forms for the form assignment, and on how to do this with minimal problems. I've made some changes to the data's format. Instead of auto numbering my key fields, I want them to be numbers, simply numbers, as I bring them off the off the Excel into the database. Okay, let's get started. First thing we want to do is specify the data source. So I'm going to my external data. Our source is going to come in as Excel spreadsheets. We're going to import them as Excel spreadsheets, and I have them in my documents. I'm going to do customer database first. Now that I've specified the location of my source, I want to import that source into a new table. This is important. I've specified a range, and I will demonstrate that shortly. But I've specified a range in my data, so I want to make sure that that range is selected. That way I don't get any blank fields or rows. I want to specify that the first row of this data is actually column headers. So first row contains column headers, should be checked. At this point I want to check each field name to make sure that that's correct, and also I would like to check each field's data type to make sure it's what I want. For example, customer ID, although it's going to be our primary key, it's going to be short text. Company name is short text. Address, short text. City, short text. Most of these are going to be short text, and the check is just procedural. State, short text. Zip code, and this is why. As Access looks at a zip code, it sees only numbers, it says it's going to be a double. Okay. We know that the long format of a zip code can have a dash in it, therefore it should be short text. Telephone number, same thing. Dashes cause it to be short text. Contact name, short text. Region, emails. Emails and web pages are both hyperlink. And next. Now, at this point, Access would like to, insert a primary key for me to make sure that everything is in order. Well, I've already selected my primary key as customer ID, so I'm going to choose my own primary key, and it just happens that it is customer ID. But if it wasn't customer ID, I would be able to select any field in the table to be my primary key. I want to name this customer table. And no, I don't want them to save my import steps. I would like to walk through the wizard and use the dialogue. So I'm going to close that guy. And there you go. We've imported a table. And as you can see, because I did specify a range, there are no blank fields or rows. So I'm going to shape this up. You can see as I touch the center post here, my cursor turns to a cross. I double click and the field accommodates the data. And there you go. Now, I mentioned earlier that I selected a range in my Excel spreadsheet. I want to show you how to do that in my employee. Okay. As you can see, I don't have a lot of employees, I only have 10 employees. But I want to select the range of data because when I import the spreadsheet, it comes in with these blanks, blank columns and blank rows. So I want to select only the data that I want to import. I want to right click in the shaded area, and in here you'll see define name. Define name means I'm selecting a range that I want to import or use. So I define the name. I want to call it imp data. And I want it to be a sheet instead of a workbook. Click OK. And there you go. Now, because it has been selected, when I go back to Access and import that data, I'm going to close this table. Yes, I want it saved. And I import that data. It is employee data sheet. It allows me to select the range. And it specifies for me that first rows contain column headers. Instead of my imp ID being a double, I would like to make it or specify it as an integer. All names are short text, address short text. My phone numbers are short text. Email will be hyperlink. Start date, date time. End date will be date time. Salary will be currency. And the comments will be long text. I want imp ID to be my primary key. I want to name this employee table. And no, I don't want you to save my steps for me. And as I look at employee table, I have no blank rows and no blank columns. This column is for an extension of the table. It's in Access automatically, as is this row. And that is how you import data into an Access database from an Excel spreadsheet. I appreciate your patience.